All right, so Eric, everybody's wondering the YMCA addition, the vacating of stretch of Business 51, Highway 52. Where are we in that process right now?
Right, yeah. Right now, the engineering firm hired by the YMCA and Aspirus are working through the traffic impact analysis, and they're waiting on some traffic counts from the DOT. They're supposed to have those this week, and then they'll be able to complete that. There's some environmental announcements and that went out this week and next week as well. So once we get those out, those have to be out for 30 days, and then we can schedule a public information meeting related to any potential environmental impacts.
So is that what the biggest concern right now is, the environmental or potential environmental impacts of construction in that area?
Not necessarily construction, but of the traffic itself. Rerouting the traffic. If we take traffic on a state highway and reroute it on a different route, we just want to make sure that there's not any negative impacts to any of the businesses now, or the homes, or any of the properties that the new route will be running by.
Do you have any, I guess, maybe even a rough idea of what the traffic counts are like in that area right now?
I don't, especially not off the top of my head. I don't know.
Sure, absolutely. So and then as far as some safety concerns, I know there was a little discussion today about the city may have to apply for some funding to redo some stoplights along Scott Street. What's the story with that?
So when we take a look at impact analysis of traffic and increasing traffic on a stretch. So Scott Street right now does have some high crash rates, in its current configuration. So if we want to add more traffic to Scott Street, then it looks like to meet federal highway regulations, those lights, the signals, will have to be replaced on all three of those intersections.
And which intersections are those?
They are 5th, 4th, and 2nd, is it?
Sounds about right.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Our office is right there, and you just know that the lights are there. But
yeah.
So what would the change then be for those lights at those intersections?
They would be set up higher. They'd be more visible. They would actually come across the street. And so those would be some of the major changes on those.
So then I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but from the meeting then, that there's some federal aid or maybe some state aid or some funding aid the city can apply for those? Is that
yeah,
right?
there's a hazard, basically a safety to mitigate hazards. And so with the high traffic crashes and the accidents along Scott Street right now, we feel very strongly that we'd be in the running to get some of those funds, to improve the safety of that stretch of Scott Street.
So then, all this said, again, construction's already started there at the Y. We can see that. Do we know then where we're at in the process of actually getting 52 rerouted through town? Do we have approval for that or not yet?
No, we don't have approval for that. We're going to have to really wait until after our public information meeting, and then get any comments that we have written and verbal from that information meeting, and get those submitted over to the DOT and have them take a look at it, and then they'll be able to give us probably some feedback at that time. So we're a couple months out yet before.
So any idea yet when that public hearing is going to be yet?
Mid to late March. We don't have a specific date, but we will publish that to all the media outlets once we have that established.
All right, sounds good. Anything else we should know then before we let you go?
I don't think so, Mike.
All right, perfect.